Sup you beautiful people. Hope you've had a fantastic day. Welcome back to a brand new episode of What If Deku Was Cursed by Death. If you guys enjoyed this what if, comment down below and let me know. And go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel after watching this video. Don't forget to shower some appreciation onto the incredible author responsible for this fanfiction. The link is conveniently waiting for you in the description box down below. Before we get into it though, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. Gran Torino yells at Endeavor to be careful since the guy almost hit a few civilians. Gran gets them out of the way and starts making his way around, taking down the hideous creatures as he listens to the others. They have a reason to believe that Stain is with the League of Villains. Stain? That means no. Where's Izuku? Eyes scanning the town, he curses. He told him to stay in the train, but if he's anything like Toshinori, then it is persistent. The fire that rages around them does not help soothe him. It plainly screeches how chaotic this night is. What they once believed to be a peaceful day has transformed into something terrifying. I told Yagi that I was going to keep an eye on the kid. I went back on my word when I told him to stay on the train while I handle the villains. If anything happens then it'll be my fault. They continue fighting until one of the officers gets a call. A few of us are needed. I suggest one of the pro heroes go along with a few officers. Apparently Midoriya found Stain in an alleyway. Midoriya? What is that kid doing out here? I get that he has a job to do, but I specifically told him. Toshinori, your successor is so much like you in this field that it physically hurts. I'll go. Todoroki, you're more suited for this fight, so do not argue with me. He mumbles something under his breath, something that he doesn't catch. Of course, he doesn't need to, he knows. A lot of kids fear him because of his training methods. It's not something he meant for, but it just happened. He has hopes for this kid. He'll have Izuku for a whole week. They meet up with Kenji Tsurugami, who nods to them. It's not far from here. Midoriya did good in sending a location. He's a fast thinker, pipes up to Reno, feeling a little bit of pride swell in his chest. Yes. I've come to realize that from working with him on this case, if it's only been a couple of days. If he's as good as we think, let's hope he's been able to distract him long enough. Wait, he can't use his quirk. He has full authorization to use it and fight against the killer, as long as he is under supervision and has backup. You can't be serious. Gran Torino has never heard something so ludicrous. He's a kid. What if he dies? How would that go? It will be on your head that it happens. I trust in his ability. You shouldn't, he murmurs. You really shouldn't. If he has to, he will protect someone to his last breath. Tashi warned me about his self-sacrificing streak. Nothing in this world ever makes sense. Why be born if we all die at some point? Then it leads to the question of how did we all come to be? No one moves after the dead body of their friend hits the ground. The boy's weapon lays on the ground a few feet behind the hero killer. No one moves, no one speaks. Nothing. The two are too busy wishing that this is all a dream. That the happy, hero-loving fanboy they've come to know isn't dead, that he's only unconscious and hasn't suffered a fatal wound. That he's still breathing. But sadly, that is all hopes and wishes. In this bleak, quirk-filled world, no one can survive a wound such as that one. Tore through the heart. Blood metallic-scented, crimson liquid stains the ground and telling the grief-stricken heroes the truth. Their friend is gone. He is gone and they can't even think. This world is cruel. Death will take whoever it chooses, no mercy at all. Midoriya. The two shout, restarting the world once again. It's a shame. The kid had potential. A true heart of a hero, sad that he had to perish from protecting a fake. Smiling how revolting. Is this man even human? How can he relish in the death of someone and the death of a child? This alone has the two friends seeing red. Anger rage filled red. How dare he? How dare he rip the life of someone such as Izuku's? Shadow scowls and sends a wave of heat towards the killer. He isn't going to let him get away with this. He will not get away with this. How dare he? The scum that walks on this earth, the devil that wears human skin, he just ruined a person's life. Todoroki. Ida yells in disbelief. You need to leave. I can't let someone else die for me. Please. Midori. Midoriya died because of you. I know. Maybe if you had listened to him from the start, he would be safe and sound. The words are cruel, but he needs to listen. Todoroki knows this will get him to listen. After all, Midoriya, the thought of their small, overly caring friend, causes him to choke. He's using the same method he used to get Shadow to use his left side. But it doesn't matter right now. You want to be a hero? Then move. Midoriya didn't sacrifice himself for you to wallow in self-pity. The hero killer and the son of the number 2 hero are battling it out. They trade blows while Todoroki is careful from hitting the dead heroes and Iida, who is still paralyzed on the ground of the alley. Tears burn in the young hero's eyes as he fights to protect the only one that is still alive. He tries not to think about it. Tries not to think of his friend who now lays on the ground with no pulse and bathed in his own blood. He narrowly dodges a knife thrown at him, yelling at himself to focus. He cannot let his mind be clouded with thoughts and emotions. He cannot let himself lose to this son of a bitch who thought in such a crooked way. He wants to get rid of fake heroes. He just killed 2 good heroes tonight. While the blow may have been intended for Iida, he still can't shake off the feelings of disdain and grief. He barely knew Midoriya, and he doesn't have the chance to ever get to know him. Jesus fucking Christ, how is he supposed to tell his mother about this? The teachers at UA. The person that Midoriya is interning with. Will they be blamed for his death since they weren't around to protect the teen, and because it's their job to keep an eye on him? Thus, how did this all get so out of hand? Be careful. His quirk paralyzes you if he consumes your blood. Iida warns after a close call. He's shaking. His tearful eyes that never left his friend's motionless body snap up to see his other friend acquaintance fighting the murder of their friend. He can't let anyone else die because of him. It doesn't seem that life is on his side, for Todoroki is on the ground paralyzed, glaring harshly at the monster. Midoriya, he whispers with tears streaming down his cheeks. He closes his eyes, not wanting to watch anymore. His voice cracks as he continues, I'm so sorry. You were right. I shouldn't even have came here. I should have told you. God, I'm so stupid. Now, shit, now, you gone and it's because of me. His breath hitches, slowly feeling coming back to his limbs. And now, Todoroki is sacrificing his life for me and I can't move. It's silent for a second. It's okay, Iida. I forgive you. The voice is faint, but it's there. Iida's eyes widen at the sound. He must be imagining this, he has to be imagining it. His grief must have delusioned him already and he's seeing and hearing things. If you two can forgive me for taking so long. He isn't imagining it. He watches his friend who he believed to have been dead sit up slowly, bones popping to relieve themselves. The sound earns the attention of the two fighting. Midoriya Izuku rises up to his feet, limping over to his side then standing back up. A grin spreads across his face as he greets the hero killer. Hello, did you miss me? What? You're alive. Midoriya. How? Whispers Todoroki with wide eyes, shock and surprise swirling in them. He needs to move. He has to move. Why can't he make himself move? Stain's quirk. It's doing this to him. He has to help. He can't let Midoriya die again. Later he will need to question him. I have a lot to explain, I know. Just ignore me being dead for the last 3 minutes. I haven't fully healed, but I can't leave you two to die. He stands in a defensive position, his eyes glittering in the faint lights of the moon and stars before he channels One for All again. I may not meet my full terms of conditions, but that doesn't mean anything to me, at least not now. The wicked grin that crosses his face reminds Todoroki of the training exercise a few weeks back. If this becomes like that, but he actually tries, that'll be something scary, terrifying. Izuku doesn't even care what the others have to say. At the moment, his attention is set on Stain. He rushes forward, swinging the scythe and managing to cut his cheek a bit before he jumps back. You know, you really should do more homework. It's reckless to go into a fight blind and ignorant of what the enemy can do. And I know so much about you, Akaguro Chisholm, he sing-songs. The look of shock crosses the villain, but it doesn't last long as he rushes to meet the kid he sees as a true hero. Yes, he can see it. His will to protect others if it means his own death. So you know my real name, what of it? It's sad that you went from being the vigilante, Stendhal, to this, but who cares now? You're surrounded by everyone you've killed. Their souls are now rotten corpses that want justice for their death. He hums as he takes another swing. But you really shouldn't have your back turned on another opponent if you know what's good for you. Stain's eyes widen, quickly moving to dodge the ice projectile. He sees his chance and kicks the mouthy kid in the chest. Stay down, he growls as he licks the blood of the green-haired teen's new injury. I don't want to kill you again. He ignores the small curse as he turns back to Todoroki. You can move again. That means his quirk may have a time limit, or maybe it deals with the type of blood. I was the second one, I can't move, says Iida. Native was already dead by the time you got here. I don't know how long it'll take. His gaze on his friend, whose mind is already working out the possibilities of the killer's quirk. Congratulations, kid. You're smarter than you look. It has to deal with blood types. Todoroki, what's your blood type? Mine's type O. Same. So that means he has a little longer alone. This time, he can't get hit. His chest is throbbing with agony, but he forces himself to ignore it. His body isn't fully healed. The heart is a very complex organ and very, very fragile. His heart had been hit, and with the other injuries, his body had been taking too long to heal it. He needs to rest, but he can't. He cannot rest just yet while people are in danger. They wouldn't want you to rest after seeing you just die. So there's the logical part of his brain. He has been wondering it had been all these years. Like every sane person, he ignores it and focuses on the battle. He's fast, but not as fast as Gran Torino. He attacks in the alleys because he can maneuver better here than his opponent. It puts Todoroki at a disadvantage since he's skilled with long-range attacks, not close range. Iida should be good with close range. Just a little longer. He needs to come up with a plan. He ignores every sound, focusing on what is going on. He notices Todoroki's lips moving, but it's directed to Iida that much he can see. He focuses on his body and on Stain. There. He moves and sends a kick to the killer's side. His chest cramps in pain. This is not the time to deal with this, body. You had enough time to heal when you were par, never mind. I'm going insane. He moves out of the way, using the walls for help like he did in Torino's home. Todoroki is trying to balance between the two elements, but it's noticeable how difficult it is for him. The fire can burn them, and the ice can incus them. His quirk has to be trained in close combat one day. He tucks that thought away. Iida finally is able to move, rushing forward and sending a kick to Stain's chest. He is still angry for what he did to his brother and friend, but he knows how to control it and not do anything rash. He can't let that happen again. Never again will he make this same mistake. He has to be careful and rationalize things. They work together and bring the killer down with a double blow from Midoriya and Iida. Akaguro Chisholm is knocked out after taking a blow from both Midoriya and Iida. They disarm him and tie him up, sighing in relief. Midoriya moves to grab Native's body when he stops. "Don't mention my death to anyone," says Midoriya, looking at his friends. He holds up a hand to cut his friend's protests. "I don't care, but please let it be a secret. I don't need anyone on my case about this. I'm fine." He moves the body onto his back, wincing but forcing to smile at them. His chest and sides throb. He reaches down and picks his side up, letting it fade from the living plane. "We should go. I sent the location to Chief Tsurigami, so they should be here soon. And Todoroki, I want to apologize." "For what?" he asks, a frown setting deep onto his face. He doesn't know how to life at the moment, everything is going too fast for him to process. It's difficult for him to think, and now his friend is apologizing for something that he might have missed. The message wasn't supposed to be sent to you, it was supposed to be to Chief Tsurigami. "You're here by my mistake, you got hurt because of me." "It's okay, Midoriya. It's a good thing I did though, and you know it," he says, giving him the look that says, "Argue with me and I won't be nice." That promptly shut his friend up and earns him a small nod. As they get to the road, they're met up with the officers and Gran Torino, who sends a kick to Midoriya's head once he's put Native at his feet. "You stupid boy. I don't care if you had authorization, what you did was stupid. And reckless." He smacks his arm for a good few minutes before he glances at the hero killer. "But you did good, I see." Authorization? The same question crosses the two males' minds. They decide to leave it at that, and watch as the officers decide to take Stain out of their grasp. "Watch out." The shout is too late, and the winged Nomu reaches into the group and grabs the green-haired teenager. Midoriya cries out in pain as he feels his heart tighten a bit, and his ribs crack a little more. His body isn't getting the time to heal itself, and each time, his heart is sending waves of pain throughout it. He struggles in the creature's grasp, letting out small pants of breaths as the agony blooms throughout his chest. Before he can summon his scythe, he's already being brought down. Blood splatters onto the ground and onto his suit. "No one can kill me. No one is worthy to kill me, but All Might. Until then, I will kill any phony heroes just like I did to the fake hero, Native." The aura around is terrifying. He takes a step forward, his sword in hand. He stops, not able to move anymore. Midoriya stares at him before his eyes sweep across the group, seeing Endeavor finally had made it. He slowly rises to his feet, a hand on his chest, breathing ragged and coughing harshly, as he stumbles past the hero killer and to his friends. The adrenaline has faded and he's left in pure agony. His left side is burning and he coughs even more, his mouth covered by his hands. He can barely move, his body shaking as he takes another step. "Kid." Gran Torino whispers, seeing the pain-pallid face. He reaches forward when the boy collapses, ignoring the blood that stains the kid's suit. "Midoriya." "I'm fine," he murmurs, closing his eyes. "I just need to rest." He falls limp in the man's arms as his friends stare at him. They recall what happened, what he said. His body wasn't fully healed. An ambulance is called and they get the three to the hospital. On the way there, the paramedics note the blood loss and the abnormal fast heartbeat. Will he be okay? Iida questions, watching the heart monitor. He's being treated by the paramedic, his arms being wrapped so that he doesn't lose any more blood. Worry for his friend's health is the reason why he hasn't fallen asleep. He'll be fine, but with the way his heart is beating and the blood he's coughing up, he may have internal bleeding. Eyelids blink open and the eyes underneath are somewhat blinded by a bright light. The owner of the pair sits up with a tired and pained groan, arms shaking underneath his weight. He looks around to find himself in his room. He frowns as he wonders how he even got there. Wasn't he in Hosu? What is wrong with his room? There's a different feel to it. It's freezing, as if Todoroki decided to make the room his own personal winter wonderland. The hues and saturation of the interior is lighter, resembling an old shirt that one loved so much, and it faded in color from when they washed it over and over again. The colors can resemble a wilted garden from a drought, from neglect, before it turns into hideous shades of brown. The room's interior is pale in comparison to the one he has grown accustomed to, the once lively, thriving with color, All Might themed on one side, and crime scene pictures on the other side of his room, is not that way anymore. Almost like it's been abandoned for a long time. The champion of death walks throughout the bedroom, his hand ghosting over the figurines, careful, almost afraid that he's going to break it. The pictures on his bulletin board are so faded one cannot see the details all that well. A rattling sound resonates and he calls to his mother. He turns to the door and slowly opens it. Soft and slow steps. He takes soft and slow steps as he silently creeps out into the hallway, calling out for his mom. Maybe it was her. Maybe everything that happened against Stain never happened, but the way the world around him is, he isn't sure. Out in the hallway, the walls are eerily white, reflecting that of a hospital. The lights in front of him flicker and threaten to go out. It's just desolate. No nurses, no visitors, no patients. Where is everyone? Who made that noise? He walks past the threshold and continues down the hall. It's like in those movies where one will continue walking and there's no end. Midoriya stops, glancing around the hallway before rushing to the only room open. Slamming the door open, he gags at the sight. He gawks at the sight of blood that splattered all around the walls and floor. This is not a hospital room. No hospital has a room that looks like this. No, it looks like a room in a newly made house, almost looking like the bathroom, but bare. The white-tiled walls, white-tiled floors all have a carmine color to it. White eyes stare at the body in front of him. One of the victims, the last victim that had been found. He had been at the crime scene. There are shoe prints, his own. He looks down, and his clothes are covered in the metallic liquid. In his hand is a knife. He gasps and throws it down. Stumbling out of the room, he ends up in a different one. This one isn't as bad. The color is still bleak and faint, but he recognizes it. Homeroom. It's disheveled. The windows are broken, glass littering over the floor and tops of desks. The same desks have been unceremoniously pushed up against the walls to where they make a small aisle leading to a metal closet that never was there before. Why is it here? Why is there an ominous feeling around it? Izuku jumps. There's a banging sound coming from it. Someone is inside and banging harshly against the door. The locker is shaking, trembling and jumping. Whoever is inside, they are fighting hard to get out. Creeping forward, Midoriya tentatively reaches forward to grab the knob. Before he can get there, the door harshly swings open to show him the rotted corpse of All Might hanging by rope. The scene causes his heart to jump out of his chest. He shrieks loudly, scrambling back and hitting his head on a desk. Coming to, he's in his living room. There stands his mom. He's breathing harshly, tears streaming down his cheeks. Mom. He whispers hesitantly. He moves forward but screams again when his mom turns. Her eyes are gone, her lips stitched into a smile, and lacerations on her chest and arms. Her stomach and intestines hanging out. She's been disemboweled. Bile rises in his throat as he gets flashbacks to those corpses when he was younger. Those that hung at the edge of his vision, staring at him and waiting for him to speak one word towards them. While he may not have been the object of their resentment, he was the only human that they can touch and bring to the land of the dead to harm him. His mother, now full of hatred and want to take revenge for her death, this is what she has become because of him. He had made the mistake of speaking. She lunges forward, her nails now long and sharp claws scratch at his clothes and flesh. No. Stop. Leave me alone. He commands, but it's no use. Whatever authority he had over the ghouls is now gone. He is at the mercy of his mother's wrath. He is reminded how cursed he is with every swipe of her rotted hands. Midoriya. Who said that? What's going on? Where am I? Is the pain gone? Static fills his ears as he stumbles over to the door that promises sweet relief. He falls and looks up. Doctors are over and operating. They're performing a surgery. Or they're dissecting. Who's there? He shouts, lip quivering and voice shaking. Who cares for who I am? I am not a giver of names. I'm just saying. Your little friends told them what happened. They're dissecting you. That's not true. Sure, whatever helps you sleep at night. Midoriya tentatively, slowly steps over to the operating table. He moves to get a look of what's on it. The sight horrifies him. No, it's not true. But sure enough, it's him. He's under stasis as they rip him open with those scalpels, blood dripping over the metal table and onto the polished floor. They are removing something. He can't watch. He feels sick. He runs to the door, ignoring the taunting voice. He's screaming and crying as he shoves through the door and sprinting down the corridor. He stumbles and hits the wall. He drops to his knees and screams in anguish, clutching his chest and gripping the torn shirt. His hands move up into his hair and pulls at it, eyes clenched closed. His harsh sobbing hurts his chest. He stands on his shaky legs, continuing down the corridor and running into things. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It can't be true. They couldn't have. They're my friends. They wouldn't have. Tears splatter onto the tiled floor as he collapses against the door. His mouth is wide open with a silent scream. He isn't breathing. He cannot draw in any breath, and it hurts. It hurts so much. Why did he have to be cursed like this? Why? Why? He shouts. Izuku. He looks up past the tears that blur his vision. He reaches forward blindly before being grabbed by the source of the voice. Their arms wrap around him and he is rocked. My champion, it will be okay. Death. Just listen, she whispers softly. Her speech is correct, no shine of stuttering or sounding out the words. She can speak fluently for this time and this time only. It took me so long to find you, I apologize for letting you deal with this torture, but I'm here now. Everything will be alright now. Listen to me, you have one chance left. Are you sure you don't want to accept it willingly? It will be just like this, but worse, much worse, and I do not want you to be put through this. Then why? It was going to happen at some point. I just made it known unlike the others. Where are my friends? She doesn't say anything and she doesn't need to. Her finger points at the plaque on the wall. 109. You'll find them here, safe. She smiles softly, running her hand through his hair. Now wake. How's Midoriya? Asks Tenya. His eyes wide as he stares at the doctor with hope. After they got to the hospital, his friend's heart evened out and returned to its normal beat, but the lungs were tricky. He suffered heavy bruising on the right side of his ribcage, but the left side wasn't lucky. 2 broke ribs, 1 punctured the lung. They hadn't noticed it at the beginning, but the paramedics noticed the blood coming from his mouth and the erratic breathing. They told the doctors and they immediately went to work. The 2 heroes in training along with the mentor were alerted. Gran Torino called Toshinori after alerting the mother. Iida and Todoroki kept to their word and didn't say anything about Deku dying. They feared that something worse happened while they waited for the news. He is fine and awake. You can go see him now. The chief has something to say to the 3 of you boys. They're led to the other teens' room, but they meet Izuku halfway with a nurse on his tail. He looks between the doctor and his friends, seeming to not recognize them. His eyes are wide with panic and fear, breath coming in pants. He moves to run away from them, but Todoroki lunges forward and grabs his hand to keep him from running and hurting himself. The boy shouts in surprise, his breath hitching as he tries to get out of the vice grip. Todoroki pulls him towards him and holds him, so that he can't run. Midoriya, you're okay. It's okay. You're safe. He watches his pupils dilate, and in a calm voice he asks, what are you doing out of your room? He shakes his head, not answering and trying to get out of his grasp. Let's get him to his room and have him rest. It'll be best to question him in a more private setting. The doctor watches the teen who's panicking. Todoroki nods and keeps a hand on his friend's shoulder while glancing over at Iida, who is staring pointedly at his feet. His gaze is brought over to the white knuckle grip on the IV holder as they continue on. Once there, they close the door, and the doctor lifts up Midoriya's shirt to make sure that he didn't pull his stitches. When he confirms that he didn't, he questions him, why were you running around? I had to make sure, he murmurs, his fists clenching in his lap. I just had a nightmare, and I wanted to make sure my friends are okay. You should have asked for a nurse. He stays silent looking up at the doctor. Can you leave us alone? He inquires. He wants to not deal with a stranger. I just really want to be alone with my friends. Of course. The chief will be here to speak with you 3 once I let him know. He leaves, but they don't say anything for a few minutes. Midoriya. Iida starts, staring at the green-haired teen. He can see his mouth part, wanting to say something, but the blue-haired male beats him to it. You don't have to tell us anything, you know that, right? You 2 deserve an explanation. Not now at least. Shadow can see how shaken his friend is. With the way that he ran out of the room in search for them, shows him how much he was worried for them. The battle with Stain must have shaken him up, not to mention the whole dying thing might not be a good thing on mental health, especially with the fact that it happened in midst of a battle where he was protecting his friends. We just want to make sure you're okay and not have you run around the hospital again like some kind of lunatic. You don't want Bakugo to be right about you being a psychopath. That gets a small crack of a smile as he looks at his friend. I am okay. I guess. I've had better days. Midoriya sighs and has Iida sit down so that he can rest. I just don't know what the chief will say. I technically didn't meet my terms of conditions. Exactly what I want to speak with you about, says Chief Kenji Tsurigami as he enters the room. His eyes are on Midoriya and only him. I gave you strict rules for you and you ignore them. Wait, what? Inquires Iida with disbelief and anger. He can't be serious. Midoriya saved our lives. Yes, but while he had authorization to go against the killer, he had to have supervision and backup. He had neither of them and still acted. Kenji stares at them for a second while letting out a small woof. Midoriya knows exactly what that means, what he's getting at. He knows where this will be going. He hasn't been helping the police without knowing the laws of Japan. He isn't dumb and he knows what will probably be done about this. Give them a choice. Because of this, you kids broke the law. Of course, that would mean immediate expulsion from UA if the news of this goes public. Are you serious? You gave a 15-year-old permission to fight a villain that kills non-true heroes. Not to mention the fact that he kills professional heroes. Just what were you thinking? Shout. He's mad. And what about me and Iida? Don't we count as backup? We apprehended the villain, who killed numerous of heroes, and would have continued to do so without Midoriya's help. Todoroki, whispers Midoriya in warning. He looks up, meeting the heterochromic eyes. It's okay. Let him finish. Like I said, it would happen if this story is to go public, but we won't allow it unless you choose otherwise. If you want, Endeavor can take full credit, and you three can seem to be victims, or you take credit and deal with the consequences. Todoroki relaxes slightly, shoulders that were tense slump down. Oh, you should have led with that, he murmurs abashed at his proclamation. Yes, he's still seething about the chief's decision. Let Endeavor take the credit. I don't want it as long as that bastard is behind bars. Ah, yes. I had a feeling you would have said so. You're a good kid, Midoriya. You've helped us a lot with this case, and we welcome you to help us again one day once you become a junior detective. Tsukauchi has enrolled you to take courses, yes? Until then, have a good night and rest up. He's enrolled me. Wait, when? I don't care, I'm happy. They're left alone again, basking in a thick silence that doesn't seem to break anytime soon. The awkward glances they share is just annoying. It's like nothing can get them to open up. From the edge of his vision, Izuku can't see Beetle there. His blonde eyebrows are furrowed as his red hair is ruffled, sticking up and matted, as if he brawled with someone prior to going there. He sighs and looks away, closing his eyes and accidentally leaning back against Shadow who now sits behind. So sorry, he murmurs, moving to sit up, but he's grabbed and forced to lay against him. His face turning a deep shade of scarlet. It's okay. Even then, the awkward tension never fades or relieves. Todoroki is somewhat uncomfortable, but his friend deserves it. He needs to lay down and not aggravate his side too much. Iida's face contorts to a scowl, shadowed by his rising anger. Deku notices it and curls into himself, thinking it may be directed to him for having endangered himself and getting into something that isn't his business, but simply that is not the case. Nothing is okay. How can anything possibly okay? Midoriya, aren't you angry with me? What I did was unheroic of me, putting myself and both you and Todoroki in danger. He hates himself for making a mistake such as this. He's surprised that Midoriya isn't a little bit angry or even mildly disappointed with his choice. He told him that he could speak with him. He tried to get him to see reason, but he brushed off all those needed attempts. If anything, I should have been the one to have died tonight and not you. He doesn't look at Izuku. He can't look at his friend. He cannot meet those jaded orbs that hold a curtain of mystery behind them. Those calculative eyes that can read him like an open book and pluck out his weaknesses. He doesn't deserve him as a friend. He is right, or at least he thinks he is when he says that he should have died. I'm not angry, somewhat mad but not angry. I'm just really disappointed in you, he admits. He watches the flinch, knowing that someone being disappointed in him is worse than being angry at him. He can be angry with him, after all, he knows that he would have done the same thing if he was in his place. He wouldn't deny something that's true. You know damn well what you did is wrong, so there's that. Next time, if you want to do something as stupid as this again, tell me. I want to join. He smiles softly before letting it fall. I just wish you came and spoke to me. I'm sorry that I didn't try harder. What? He's sorry. Midoriya, you shouldn't be sorry. I should have tried harder to ignore my feelings for revenge. But it doesn't matter what we should have done. What's done is done, but it's your choice that you learn from this experience and in the future, not let your negative emotions cloud your judgment. He flashes his 10 million yen smile at Iida, reaching forward to fist bump his hand. They stop and look over, or in Midoriya's case, look up at Todoroki, who seemed to have muttered something. It's like a curse. What is? Why is he looking at his hands? Does he have some curse or something? Every time I'm with someone, their hands suffer from damage. I'm the hand crusher. They laugh. I'm serious. They laugh harder. Midoriya feels a little bad for laughing, so he just grabs his left hand and pats it. Midoriya calms down and gives him a bright smile. They fall silent again, but it's a better one than before. Not as awkward and not as tense. Midoriya is running through what all he can say to them about the dying but not really dying, and starts rubbing his wrist. He hums a soft tune, looking at Iida then around the room. Wait, was my mom told this about this? Please, tell me she wasn't, he whispers. I think the man, who you are interning under, told her, answers Iida as he stares at his IV drip. If you want, I can get a nurse to bring him in, and we can leave for you two to talk. Yeah, I think you two should get rest. I don't want to keep you here for too long. Yes, that's a good idea. I will be released tomorrow, so I'll come by then. Todoroki lets Midoriya go and gets off the bed, helping him lay down despite the protests that he does not have to help. Iida smiles softly, seeing that his friend is so willing to help others but never himself. He needs to speak with him, maybe he can get him to see that he doesn't need to do everything himself. At the moment, he just needs to rest first. I'll make sure Iida gets to bed. On the way to her room, I'll alert a nurse. What his name? I can't recall. Gran Torino. Small, elder man with a jumpsuit, and they should know who you're talking about. He waves at them and sighs. He's surprised that he hasn't been told to change, but it's probably because a nurse hasn't came in, so he'll relish in this moment for a bit. He knows he's going to be scolded, yet he wonders if he had informed All Might. Oh geez, that will not be good. Hopefully, Gran Torino did not inform him. He doesn't need a worried All Might, because knowing him, he might try to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid, and he will constantly grill him for having gotten hurt. He closes his eyes but doesn't get any more minutes of peace. Goodness kid, are you trying to send me to an early grave? Toshinori never once felt so much terror as he did when he got the call from Gran Torino. At first he was sure that the small elderly hero, who can still kick his butt, was just going to upbraid him for his poor teaching skills, or even tell him that young Midoriya has broken his bones using one for all, and again scold him for it. No, he never thought that his teacher was going to call and tell him his successor fought against the hero killer, and had a punctured lung from a broken rib and was in surgery. Just who even thinks that their old teacher would call them for that? His heart stopped beating, his one lung lost all the oxygen in it. He thinks he died for a moment. He did what? He whispers, horrified. Yes, he knew the kid had been given permission to fight Stain, but he didn't think that he would actually do it. Oh, who was he kidding? It's Midoriya. He fights Satan and God, probably fight any other gods that get in his way, if it meant to protect someone. That kid sure as hell will be the death of him. Yes, I heard. He's in surgery. What happened and why was he fighting Stain? You were looking after him. This kid is going to be the death of me. I swear. You and me both, Gran. I've alerted his mother and she wasn't happy either. If you are going to upbraid anyone, do so to your student. He's a trouble magnet. He takes a breath as he regains his train of thought. Okay, I told him clear as day to stay on the train. I had no clue that he was allowed to battle against Stain until heading over to the scene. That kid never told me. The two boys that were with him said he got kicked multiple times by Stain, so that must have been what happened to break and bruise his ribs. It probably worsened when that creature, I think they said it was called a Nomu, grabbed him and Stain killed it, thus saving the kid. He fell roughly, so that might have been what caused the puncture wound. Yagi is sure as hell that he'll be getting gray hairs before it's time. That kid. He swears. No wonder Aizawa calls him problem child. He sighs softly, rubbing his chest. Have you gotten any updates on his condition, or is he still in surgery? Still in surgery. When he's awake, I'll message you. Don't worry too much. He's in good hands. Goodbye, Toshinori. They hang up at that moment, and Toshinori is left with his thoughts once again. His mind never straying from his successor, the boy he picked up after a car almost hit a child. The boy who didn't think but acted to save someone who he didn't know. Toshinori is really going to need to keep a better eye on the kid. Chio is right, that kid has no self-preservation, and it's scary that someone his age doesn't. He should have seen it, should have said something to him when he gave him one for all. He saw the way he would overwork himself with training, school, that murder case, which sends Toshinori reeling at the mere thought of it. Izuku is a kid, he shouldn't be at crime scenes, much less see bodies like that. He, himself, has seen his fair share of mangled bodies, bloodied and unidentifiable. The first time he'd seen one, he almost threw up. To see his protege poke around, stare at one, and read the signs it had, it's terrifying. Sickening that he can stare at one and not even flinch. To say that he's been doing that since he's 12, maybe even younger, he can't help but find it horrifying. How can this boy even act like seeing the dead isn't a huge deal? Why has anyone even let a kid near such heinous scenes? He spoke to Naomasa and he wasn't happy with the things he learned from his friend. The boy's mental health is worrisome, which is why he speaks to him about it at any chance he can get, makes sure he's doing well and getting anything out of his system. It's difficult, he doesn't speak much but little by little. He doesn't want him to feel too pressured. Toshinori shakes his head, looking at the papers he had been shuffling through. He coughs, blood spraying into his hand. He stands and moves over to the window. The stars that speckle the dark night, forming patterns that can lead one to their destination if they could look close enough and correctly read them, are difficult to be seen with the lights that light up the city. Where at one point the place had been silent, it's now boisterous and full of people and cars. The noise of it all is loud and annoying, unless one is used to it. He looks out to watch the people while wondering about the kid. You're too young and I have shoved something onto you without knowing of the burdens you already face. I want to help, but you pushed me away, and I'm sorry, young Midoriya. I have a lot of things I need to tell you, especially the origin of One for All. And about me. He places his hand over his wound, the one thing he never told Midoriya about. The one thing he has to tell him about that's more important, the All for One. Gran Torino is shaking his head at the kid. A breakout attempt. Wow. No matter how calm he thinks everything is, how settled down, this kid just comes right back and gets back into trouble. He just hands the kid the phone and tells him to call his mother. As he obliges, Gran Torino looks over him, taking in his appearance. He's paler than before, as if he's been bleached. His scars and freckles stand out. A few strands of his curly hair hang limp against his face, as if he had taken a shower or even straightened them. His eyes are lighter, not as dark as they were when he first seen them. He frowns but says nothing while watching him interact with his mom, reassuring her. His tone is light, eyes closed, and his face relaxed. Torino would have assumed that Midori is asleep if it isn't for the fact that he's speaking. I love you, but he murmurs, hanging up. He sounds really exhausted, and those eyes that are half-lidded shows it too. For a second he thinks that he may just fall asleep, but the kid is hellbent on proving him wrong. Gran Torino, I really am sorry for the trouble I have caused you tonight. His voice is slurring, so he is falling asleep, but he's apologizing for being so troublesome. This kid, does he know that he doesn't have to apologize? Yes, he went after a serial killer, but he just really had to help that unfriend. Gosh, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought that he's Yagi's spawn. I really. Sorry. He lets out a small yawn, his lips quivering before he gives him a small smile. Thank you for helping me. You're tired and delusional. Get some sleep, kid, he says, and he watches him drift off. He stands there a little longer, taking the kid's phone and putting it on the table beside him. He purses his lips before sighing. He runs a hand through Midoriya's hair before telling him he has no reason to apologize or thank him for. With that he leaves and goes to speak with the doctors to find out when the boy can be discharged. Once he's healed, he's going to forego training. He hasn't gotten soft just yet. That boy will amount to grueling exercises. No, he isn't soft whatsoever. He passes by the other two boys' room and stops, listening to the conversation. He does not catch the beginning, but he can tell who they're speaking about anyway. It's not that difficult to know. Going to say. Who cares? My father isn't a big fan of Midoriya already, especially after what he said to him yesterday, but he'll just have to deal with it. Todoroki Enji is someone who Midoriya shouldn't really make mad, but it's too late now. Midoriya really needs to be careful. He's making enemies in such a rapid pace, it's worrying. Oh, great, just what Gran Torino needs. The kid is an enemy magnet as much as a trouble magnet. Sheesh, that kid needs to learn to be careful. Well, he's going to have an interesting hero life in the future. A pause and some rustling. We should get some rest. We'll finish this tomorrow. Torino takes that as his cue to leave. His mind is on many things. A nurse sees him and asks him to go on down and go home to rest. Sighing, he nods and heads home for the night. His mind on the crazy kid that he is stuck with for the rest of the week. Midoriya wakes to darkness. His eyes trace the faint lines of the ceiling as he tries to get his bearings. Blinking for a few seconds, he sits up and scans the room when it appears. The rancid smell of flesh rotting fills his nose, taking over his sense of smell. His gaze falls upon a ghoul, that same ghoul who was in the infirmary that day. The rancid smell is so strong, he gags. His throat burns with the acidic bile that rises up. His eyes are white as it takes in the body, sunken flesh that is stretched around the bones. The stomach is shredded and the intestines hang, swinging. Blood drips onto the floor, the sound of it hitting echoes in his ears. CHP on. The voice is raspy, nasally. It makes its way over to him, lifting one mutilated hand towards him. Those bloodshot golden eyes never leave him as it gets closer. It sucks in air as if it has trouble breathing. Saw. Us. Midoriya's heart starts beating harshly, breathing coming out in ragged pants. This is too close. It's getting too close. He summons his scythe and swings at it, but it vanishes. His eyes are white as he looks around the room. He sighs, closing his eyes and leans his head back against the wall. Something folds onto his forehead. With a tentative hand, he touches his face and glances up. A voiceless scream rips from his throat as he stares into those hideous eyes. He can't summon his scythe, for he is petrified. The ghoul's hand reaches towards him when it's knocked away from him. Beetle. He whispers, staring at him grapple with the ghoul. In a long agonizing screech, it's gone and Midoriya is left gaping at Beetle, who is panting harshly. He holds a few scratches on his face which